Hi guys. Normally I don't do videos for chapter 2 because the book is pretty self-explanatory. But since we got a late start and I know some of you haven't had a course like this yet, I'm going to go ahead and help you out a bit with chapter 2. I'm sure some of you have already done these assignments and submitted them on Canvas since they're due tonight. But for those of you that are not quite sure how this is going to work, I'm just going to sort of step through what your homework and what your quiz should look like. So first, the problems. Well, the problems for chapter 2 you can find in your book on page 34 at the end of chapter 2, and you just simply need to read the problems and just and when you open up your assignment, it'll look like this, only you won't have the answers obviously, and you'll have to put your name here and the answers here. Now, since this, my goal here is for you guys to learn this, so I'm not trying to make this hard, but I do expect you guys to put the time in to actually read the chapter thoroughly and carefully, and try to answer as many of these questions as you can, on your own. I will be posting videos every week explaining how to do the problems, not the quizzes. The quizzes are very similar to the problems, so if you really carefully work through the problems, either the solutions or just basic answers to questions, you shouldn't have too much you shouldn't have too much difficulty doing the quizzes. But for this first chapter, I'm going to show you the problems and the quiz, just so you can see how it's going to work. The first thing I want to show you here is this document is set up so you're restricted in what you can actually edit. So you cannot edit this part right here, only in the boxes. So you might want this, you might not like this highlighting. So if you come up, you can't see it on my video, but if you come up to, if you're in a Word and you click on the developer at the top up here, and then click on restrict editing, you'll get this box over here, and you can just uncheck this box that says highlight, and you guys can't quite see it here, but it says highlight the regions to edit. So you just unclick that right there, and your highlighting is gone. Okay, so problem 2.1 or question 2.1 is asking you, let's go to it right here, chapter 2. What are surplus economic units? Give two examples of entities in the financial system that typically would be classified as SEUs, and what are deficit economic units, and give two examples of DEUs. And so that's shouldn't be that hard, but just to show you, they are any kind, any type, or any economic unit that has that where the income of that unit or organization exceeds the expenditure. So wealthy families in the household sector, and most states which have a law that says they must balance their budget, so they must take in an income more than they expend. And a deficit economic unit is a unit in which the expenditures exceed the income, and that would be examples of that would be home buyers and college students who have to pay back loans. Question 2.2. Now, I just want to remind everyone that, as I have in the directions up here, you do not need to retype the problems. You just need to put the answers in here. So for problem or question 2-2, and it's just simply true or false. And all four of these are false. So what are they? Let's just jump back over here to 2. So trades among investors in the New York Stock Exchange are primary market transactions. No, false. And you can read up here why that is in the chapter. The money market is where firms go to obtain funding for long-term projects. No, false. Whoops. Your firm has $2 million of excess funds that will be needed for 1 month. You would most likely go to the capital market to invest the money until needed. Nope, that's false. Now, all these are false, which means the true statement, where you would actually go here, you can easily find in the chapter. And lastly, gold and international currencies are traded in the money market. No, they're not. False. So all those are false. Okay. Let's go back here. So 2, 3. This is just asking you to put a list in an order. And what else? And so it's got two parts, A and B. So jump back over here. It's just asking you to arrange the following markets in order from most efficient to least efficient, and you can see the order is actually that's not it. It's over here. It's 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 1. So jump back over here. A money market, the secondary market, or the New York Stock Exchange, 2, 3, 4, and then 4 is the counter market, and lastly the real estate market is the least efficient. Okay, so all of these answers are in the chapter. They're not that hard. They're just simply reading and answering. This is why I typically don't do a video for this one, but I will for chapter 3 on out, because there's going to be some calculations that you may need some help with. There's actually one here that we're going to do, I believe. Let's see what else we have in your assignment. So I ask you to do 2.2-4, which is just simply asking you what characteristics must a security have to be traded in the money market, and give 2 examples of securities that are traded in the money market. So what are they? A money market security is short-term and actively traded. And 2 examples are treasury bills and commercial paper. Now, these last 2 require some basic simple calculations that I'm going to help you a little bit with here. And let's see. A public service company of North Carolina has issued $150 million worth of bonds this year. The bonds will had a face value of $1,000 each, and each came with a promise to pay the bearer $66.25 a year in interest during the life of the bond. What is the coupon interest rate of the bond? So you're just simply doing a quick calculation to see what percentage of 1,000 is $66.25. So in order to do that, you just simply need to divide 66.25 by 1,000, and you get the interest rate of 6.58. Now, if we do that with a calculator, let me bring that up real quick. We just simply go 0.25 divided by 1,000, and that's going to give us our answer. But this gives us our answer in a decimal. So remember, in order to get the percentage, you need to move your decimal place over 2 places to the right and you get 6.625%, and 6.25 is also 5. The fraction of that is 5.558, and we can see that if we just clear this and go 5 divided by 8, and that's going to give us 625. So that's, but you can just put the answer in the decimal form. That's fine. Okay. And then lastly, this is just simply understanding, and I believe this is in your book. Let me jump back to your book. If we scroll up here, I believe you'll find a chart that has these risk premium somewhere. Let me just see if I can find it. Maybe not. Let me just scroll through here. I think there's it just has an example of listing these out in your book. I should have found this before. Yeah, here we go. So this is really the key of that answer. So you just basically take the real rate of interest, add it to the inflation premium, and then add all your risk of premiums, and here, and that's going to equal, all these are going to equal your nominal interest rate or the total yield. Nominal interest rate and the total yield of the bond are the same thing. So to get this answer, you simply, well let's just jump back to the question here. Jump back down here to the question. It's giving you a list of premiums. It tells you that the real rate of interest is 2%, and the expected inflation is 3%. So you just simply need to add all those up, and you get your total yield of bonds R Us is 8%. So in the next chapter, we'll talk about what this inflation premium is, and I'll explain that and why that actually adds to the interest rate, and I'll explain that in our chapter 3 videos. And since I don't want any video to go over 15 minutes, I'm going to stop this video now, and I'll do one more just for chapter 2, explaining how the quiz should look. But just keep in mind that from chapter 3 on out, I'm not going to, make a video showing you how to do the quizzes, because they're quizzes. But if you read the chapter carefully, study it, and if you watch the videos on how to do the problems that I assign you, you shouldn't have any problem with the quizzes. Okay.